Hello everyone, welcome back to Neo Sree Stories. In the previous two videos, I shared the first two chapters of my life story. Please check them out if you haven't seen them already. In this video, I will take you to the next chapter, my life after college and the events that led to a crisis which became the turning point of my transformation. I will try to keep it brief. Right after graduating in 2009, I received an invitation letter from the Singapore immigration to apply for permanent residency, just like other international students at Temasek Poly. And with that letter, I secured my first full-time job as a system engineering assistant at a local company called Infologic. They were producing information display systems for several airports and Singapore Metro. I had a pleasant first job experience there. After getting Singapore PR, I moved to a startup company called IT Pace, where I developed customized software for local companies in Singapore. I also developed a software product for automated SMS marketing. The startup eventually failed, but I learned a lot of valuable lessons from that experience. In 2012, I joined an internet service provider in Singapore called ViewQuest as a network engineer. Initially, I handled on-site deployments and customer support. However, within 2 years, I became part of the core network engineering team. I gained a lot of practical knowledge in managing complex computer networks. I also had a lot of fun memories with my colleagues there. In 2014, I joined a multinational company called Expedio, where I had plenty of opportunities for personal and professional growth in a global collaborative environment. I started as a network engineer and gradually transitioned to a sales solution engineer role as the company expanded. I also had several opportunities to travel to different countries for work. As a network engineer, I traveled to different data centers across Asia to manage and upgrade the network setup. As a solution engineer, I traveled to visit customers and partners worldwide to create network solutions together. I became an expert in global internet connectivity. I even developed a software that automated some performance tests on internet links managed by Expedio worldwide. The resulting dataset was powerful enough to identify the global routing performance of ISPs in major cities around the world. I have also designed numerous virtual private networks on a global scale using various network equipment, software, and underlying connections. I spent over 7 years working at Expedio and shared countless memorable moments with my colleagues there. I formed deep and enduring friendships with some of these amazing people, which continue strong to this day. At the end of 2021, I decided to take a long break from my career. This summarizes my professional journey thus far. My personal life was also full of events after leaving Temasek Poly in 2009. Along with starting my first full-time job, I also entered into a relationship with a wonderful girl I had met in college. However, during this time, I unconsciously developed an unhealthy lifestyle. I began eating a lot of fast food and unhealthy meals, never exercised, and spent most of my leisure time glued to the TV or PC. I started gaining weight year after year. I was also obsessed with several personal projects on my computer. I was building a customized home server with multiple terabytes of storage for file sharing with my close friends. I lacked any interest in reading books or expanding my knowledge of any other subjects back then. At the beginning of 2014, a sad event happened in my life. My father passed away. It was a huge shock to my family as he had never been hospitalized before. Suddenly, I found myself having many new responsibilities. There was societal pressure to proceed ongoing marriage proposals for my sister. Towards the end of that year, she got married, and the following year, it was my turn. I borrowed a lot of money from banks for these weddings, even though I didn't earn much that time. Because of those debt repayments, I became stressed about my finances eventually. Looking back, if I had the same knowledge and mindset that I have now, I would have made completely different choices for those events, keeping them simple, non-religious, and inexpensive. After marrying the girl I had been in a relationship with for the past 6 years, I took every chance to travel with her. We also formed friendships with many other couples and created a lot of memorable moments with them. Those experiences were unforgettable. But all this time, we were growing apart without realizing it. Our preferences and needs began to change significantly after marriage. During that time, I was influenced by the patriarchal values instilled by my family, relatives, and some friends, leading to many misconceptions in my life. I felt an unhealthy need to maintain a certain social image, which strained our relationship when I tried to impose it on my partner. Despite her being a wonderful person, we were no longer on the same page often. I felt dissatisfied about certain aspects of my relationship and felt confused when thinking about my future. But I failed to communicate my feelings effectively to my partner, and I lacked the courage to make any significant changes in my life, so I kept things to myself. At the beginning of 2018, I enrolled into a part-time bachelor's degree course in computer science from Oxford Brookes University. It was a top-up degree program for diploma holders in Singapore. I was working at Expedio at the time, and balancing the demands of work and studying was quite stressful. Luckily, by end of that year, I successfully completed all the necessary modules for graduation. Then, I continued to do an optional project meant for adding honors to that degree. However, I didn't complete it due to an unfortunate incident that occurred during that period. In early 2019, I faced a huge data loss when multiple hard disks in my custom-built server failed together. It was too painful to see years of hard work disappear just like that. This happened while I was already under stress from many ongoing situations in life. I lost all interest in rebuilding that project. After that incident, I felt unusually moody and short-tempered, and I lost interest in things I used to enjoy. Without realizing it, I was actually heading towards a mental breakdown. At work, I started clearing all my pending projects and asked my colleagues to help take over some ongoing ones. Then one day, I said goodbye to them in a strange way that left some of them sad and confused. I feel sorry for them as I look back now, but I wasn't my usual self anymore at that point. After that, I packed my bags and said goodbye to my partner and left home, telling her I was leaving forever. I feel even more sorry for what she had to go through in the next few months of my mental breakdown. Then I started posting strange things on social media that didn't make much sense to anyone. At one point, I deleted almost all of my social media profiles when I was paranoid during my mental breakdown. About a month later, I was diagnosed with a mood disorder called bipolar disorder, and the incident I experienced was known as a bipolar mania episode. Bipolar disorder is a disabling illness that is estimated to affect nearly 2% of the global population. It is a treatable illness, just like diabetes or high blood pressure. I will create more videos about it in the future to reduce the stigma associated with it and increase awareness among a wider audience. From this chapter of my life, I learned that most of the sources of my stress were avoidable with a different mindset and decision-making system based on an updated worldview. This is where my schools failed miserably. Following the society blindly does not work for everyone. Some of us have to try things differently until we find out what works best for us. Stay tuned for the next video to find out how my breakdown led to a positive transformation in my life.